Good morning and welcome to Day 2 of the 19th Annual BC Natural Resources Forum. I'm Sarah Weber, Chair of the Forum Advisory Committee and your MC today. Before we start, I would like to acknowledge that the virtual conference, while broadcasting across the province, is produced within the area we know today as Prince George and Vancouver. The studios are located on the territories of the Lheidli First Nation and the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh Nations. We honor their language, culture, and history. We've got an exciting day in store with keynotes from Rio Tinto's Sébastien Ross, BC's Minister for Energy, Mines and Low Carbon Innovation, the Honourable Bruce Ralston, and Canada's Minister of Natural Resources, the Honourable Jonathan Wilkinson. Minister Wilkinson will also be joining Ivan Vella, Chief Executive, Aluminium, Rio Tinto, and Robert Johnston, Special Advisor for Energy and Climate, Eurasia Group, for an in-depth discussion. We will hear from these speakers on the topics of low-carbon metals and minerals, Indigenous community partnerships, and the pathway to net zero. I would like to pass the digital podium to one of our platinum sponsors, Lyuna, for the introduction of today's opening keynote.
Western Canada Manager of Lyuna, the Labor's International Union of North America. We acknowledge that our office is on the unceded territory of the Coast Salish peoples. I appear today on behalf of Joseph Mancinelli, Lyuna Vice President, representing over 140,000 members across Canada in various sectors, including all forms of construction, healthcare, industrial plants, and the service sector, all of whom remained on the front lines as essential workers in both the pandemic response and economic recovery. Lyuna is now a proud platinum sponsor of the BC Natural Resources Forum and honored to have this opportunity to introduce the keynote speaker, Sébastien Ross. As Managing Director of Rio Tinto's Aluminum Atlantic Operations, Mr. Ross is well positioned to reinforce Canada's status as the world's lowest carbon footprint aluminum producer. In recent years, Mr. Ross has announced investments in Rio Tinto's hydroelectric facilities, initiatives to increase the company's aluminum recycling capacity, and the first investment to add new aluminum production capacity in North America in nearly 10 years. We look forward to hearing Mr. Ross's remarks, and Lyuna wishes all of you a great conference.
Good morning to all of you, and thank you for having me here today. It's my great pleasure and privilege to be here with you virtually today on behalf of Rio Tinto BC Work. I'm grateful to join you from the traditional and unceded territory of the Pequot-Mi'ilnuts de Nitassinan. I would like to acknowledge with deep gratitude the traditional territory of the Indigenous people whose land we operate in British Columbia, from the Isla Nation to Kitsilas, Kitsukalum, and Gitkats Nation, where our smelter is located in Kitimat, to the Cheslata, Skintai, Nitaibun, Saikos, Stellatan, and Nanle Witten Nation, where we operate our reservoir in the Denchaco region. The agenda lists my presentation today as the power of community partnerships. Arguably, it's more accurately titled the power of community building. While community partnerships have been part of our DNA since the very beginning, but you all see in the short video I share in a bit, community partnerships have the power to build up communities, and we're honored to play an active role in that. What partnerships have looked like over time has certainly changed, but our value as a company and as a member of our host community are increasingly driven by what is best for our people, the communities they live, and the environment. Now more than ever, our focus is on community as we continue to work alongside our Indigenous partners, our employees, to build strong, resilient communities together. I recognize that all of this is a bit ironic coming from someone based in Quebec. But I have the privilege of working alongside my colleagues in BC. I'm well aware of the good work happening on the West Coast. I'm reminded of comments made by Arthur Renwick, ISLA Deputy Chief Counsellor, a few weeks ago, where he notes the progress and mutual respect that has developed amongst and across our communities over time. And as he notes, both he and his father work at Alcan, We have a long history working with local communities with intimate knowledge and understanding of the lands and waters. After all, the challenge we face affect everyone. This past year, we endured floods, heat wave, forest fire, extreme cold weather events, not to mention the ongoing pandemic. At the end of 2020, we look back on what was already an incredibly challenging year, only to have 2021 hit us harder. This year, I'm convinced more than ever that we must do the hard work of being community builder so that together we are resilient for what lies ahead. So what does it mean to be a community builder? At Rio Tinto, we believe it starts with a shared foundation of trust, focusing on people first as a means to building stronger economy for all British Columbians, and if it's investing in a more sustainable and resilient futures for our communities and our shared environment. One thing we have learned these past years with the pandemic is that the health of our economy is intrinsically tied to the health of our people. The people that live and raise their families in our communities that support our business to prosper. If they are not healthy mentally, physically, and socially, then none of us will prosper. The same can be said for the health of our environment. We're all connected. That connection must start with a shared foundation of trust. Rio Tinto has had the privilege of operating in northern BC for more than 70 years, longer than my lifetime, and I'm sure of many of yours as well. The team at Rio Tinto BC Work is woven into the fabric of so many northern BC communities, from Kitimat and Terrace to Vanderhoof, and all of the communities in between. It's hard to imagine the number of lives we've touched throughout that time. Today, we employ more than 1,000 employees. Multiply that many times over, and I can't help but be humbled by the scale of our legacy in British Columbia. Many of those working in our team are second and third generation employees. It's not often that upcoming generation will think of working where their grandparents worked. There is something unique here. But community building is about more than just big numbers. Numbers are meaningless without trust between us and the community that hosts us. Be the first to admit that building and holding trust isn't always easy to do, and Rio Tinto has had to learn and relearn how to do better, and it is something we strive to do better every day. As part of that building and learning process, we're proud of the close relationship we've cultivated with the Indigenous community, whose land and waters we have had the privilege of operating on for the past 7 decades. We've learned that shared trust with the Indigenous people of this land is root to continuously advancing meaningful reconciliation. We work closely with the Cheslatta-Carrier Nation to do just that. In 2020, Rio Tinto signed the New Day Agreement, a long-term partnership to support a strong futures for the Cheslatta community and our hydroelectric operation in the Nunchaku watershed. The agreement is a step forward, restoring Cheslatta jurisdiction in their territory and implementing an innovative Cheslatta-led stewardship initiative on their land, water, and environment. It also promotes social and economic well-being for the nation's members through training, employment, and business opportunities. And in the watershed, where our reservoir provides clean, renewable power to our operation, we are building partnerships aimed at ensuring community goals and interests are considered in how we manage the reservoir for the benefit of the environment, recreation, and the preservation of the cultural value. Working and building trust with communities where we operate is a key piece as we move forward. Over the past several months, we have a greater appreciation for what our workers need. Better, more inclusive workplace and increased engagement are just two examples. We recognize that they want to be able to contribute to our business success and to be successful themselves. Partnerships like this provide the building blocks as we continue to build a foundation of trust. They allow us to work to bring about positive opportunities that can help us weather the challenge we continue to face, and we remain committed to learning how to improve and adjust our approach. For me, it's not just about the benefit we deliver, It's also about respecting and restoring the rights holder and knowledge holders of the communities we operate in. That is a powerful thing all of us can work towards together. This way of doing business is different than when we started out more 70 years ago. It's important to acknowledge that there is much to do as we strive to do better community partner, as we build a business that only reflects the world and the community around us, but also includes our people as valued members of our business, involving them in the decision making and empowering them to shape our futures. Collaborations begins and evolves with listening. We have made effort to ensure our people in our communities felt heard, both through formal initiatives like the Water Engagement Initiative to ensure community interests and are reflected in how to better manage water in the reservoir, and the SO2 program to more effectively address and share information about air quality in Kitimat. In addition, by reaching a collective agreement with our valued employees that reflect the needs of all parties, we are building a safe, engaged, strong, and competitive environment that benefits our people, their family, the company, and obviously the broader community. Earlier last month, the first ship berthed at Rio Tinto newly opened extended wharf at the Terminal A facility. In a port community like Kitimat that sees many ships comes and go, this may not seem like a big deal, but I can tell you that it culminates many years of collaboration with LNG Canada as well as many local and First Nation companies to diversify the economy in Kitimat. It also sets the stage for what will continue to evolve as a world-class, multi-industry, sustainable community for generations to come. We've come a long way since we established our partnership with LNG Canada to continue supporting the dream of exporting BC responsible natural resources to meet the demand of a world transitioning to cleaner energy sources. We at Rio Tinto are proud that we have facilitated the development of a clean, innovative industries, and I believe it speaks to the diverse and creative ways we can be community builders. For our new Terminal A project and the Kemano Second Tunnel project to LNG Canada soon to be operating export facility and Cedar LNG, BC's first Indigenous-led LNG project and a model for our future resources project should be planned. These projects highlight the power of industry coming together with community partners to generate sustainable economic opportunities that equip and benefit future generations. Investments like this are part of our collective effort to build a stronger and more resilient economy, what that represents all British Columbians. When we choose the right like-minded partner, when we listen to what people need and want, we can build stronger, more resilient communities. Kitimat is then a perfect example. As we look ahead, we are increasingly aware of what community needs: investment in healthcare, mental health services, childcare, local business support, and education. While running our businesses may not require us to think of these every day, we know this is what healthy communities needs to thrive. And as I noted earlier, a thriving community is essential to any company's success. All that to say, building a stronger economy is not just about expanding our own businesses and our economies. Some example, we've partnered with the Kitimat General Hospital to ensure those of the front line fighting the pandemic continue to have the resources and support they need. Through our investment of more than $2 million in pandemic-related supports, we continue to put our values in action. And last year, we partnered with BC Children's Hospital to help fund an important study to assess the impact of the pandemic on children's mental health in BC. We know it is significant and will have an impact for future generations. Our partnership with the Terrace Heartbeat Philanthropic Society to gather social impact data contributes to our growing knowledge of the gap in needs for improved services and programming in these communities. In the past year has proven that strong economies rely on healthy people, communities, and environment. We are not alone in these efforts. I know many people listening today and are making these investments. We must continue to be innovative about how we fund and collaborate to make our investment that much more impactful. Our work continues often in collaboration. We are so grateful to our industry colleagues and partners for always looking for ways to make a difference and have a real impact. So as part of any businesses, we must consider the greater community needs and continuously be looking for new ways to build robust and creative economic opportunities that will help our people provide for their families and to help keep each other healthy and resilient. I think it really speaks to how interconnected all of us in the resources sector are and the positive impact we can have when we keep communities and people at the forefront of our businesses. Now to my last point, community building requires increasing investment in a more sustainable and resilient futures. I think it's clear that we must work together to future-proof our communities. Building anything sustainable, whether it's a business, neighborhood, or new policies, requires investment in innovation, technology, and environmental research. We need to continuously invest in the infrastructures our people and communities rely on so our children can continue to prosper in this land. The world around us is rapidly changing, and after being around for 70 years, Rio Tinto has witnessed firsthand the impact of our changing environment. This is why we have invested approximately $7 billion to future-proof our BC Works operations since 2011, including our investment in modernizing our smelter and upgrading the Keynote tunnel system with our T2 project. These investments have resulted in BC Works becoming one of the cleanest, most efficient aluminum smelter in the world. And in 2021, Rio Tinto committed $7.5 million US globally to lower emission between 2022 and 2030 across our global operation. Better infrastructures make good investment sense, but there is also other ways we can invest in the futures. Investing in environmental research, it's an important way industry can contribute to the collective effort to create a better, more resilient futures for everyone. Rio Tinto is honored to do our part by working together with academic institutions and scientists to tackle the impact of climate change on the North. We've partnered with the Natural Science and Engineering Research Council of Canada to establish the Rio Tinto Senior Industrial Research Chair in Climate Change and Water Security. As part of that investment, University of Northern British Columbia environmental science professor Dr. Stephen Derry received $1.5 million in funding to quantify the roles of climate variability, climate change, and water management in the Nunchaku River Basin water supply. The work that Dr. Derry and his team is doing will advance our understanding of how climate change will impact our water security. They'll expand research stations in the basin and monitor the impact of atmospheric rivers, the importance of which has become even more evident to all of us after last year's floods. This research is critically important to our business and the futures of our communities, not just in BC, but across our operation. I know many other leaders and community in this room are setting ambitious targets, and I applaud all that we are doing to build sustainable businesses, but we can do more, learn more together, even with our closest competitors. For example, Rio Tinto partnership with Alcoa, Apple, and the government of Quebec in Canada brought about ELYSIS, the most significant innovation in the aluminum industry in more than a century. The ELYSIS technology eliminates all direct greenhouse gas emission from the aluminum smelting process and could reduce Canada's annual emission by approximately 7 million metric tons, or equivalent of removing 1.8 million cars from the road. And by working in partnership with our competitors and government, we are able to achieve a better outcome faster. Rio Tinto Chief Executive Aluminum, Mr. Ivan Vela, is participating in a fireside chat later today to go deeper on the topic of climate change and how we can plan ahead. I know it'd be an insightful dialogue, and I hope you'll stay tuned for that. Rio Tinto is just one part of the community, but we're proud of our role. The work we do together across industries, government, academia will help guide all of us toward more sustainable practices that will support community resilience for the next 70 years. The topic for this year's conference, Stronger Together, really embodies our approach at Rio Tinto. So before I conclude today, I would like to share a short video that our community teams has developed. You have heard from me for several minutes speaking about Rio Tinto's approach philosophy and learnings when it comes to community building. But really, you should be hearing straight from those that live and work in our communities about what matters to them and how they are working together to build a strong future.
Kitimat is a planned community, one of only a few in Canada. In the early 1950s, the Aluminum Company of Canada, Alcan, hired a world-renowned planner, Clarence Stein, out of retirement to plan a community that would not only support their industry, but also be a great place to work, live, and play.
Community means the people and where we live, how we live.
Community means belonging, I think is the big word for me. It's about that sense of place.
I think we've been known in the past as a very caring community. I'm told we're a very welcoming community, and we've worked very hard in the last little while to be more of an inclusive community.
Part of the reason that I chose to live here and stay here and raise my family is because of the community.
This is a great place to live. My early career in government, I was moved from place to place. When I got here, I refused to leave.
Proud that Kitimat exemplifies community. Community to me means many different moving pieces that in isolation may not lead to success, but all together they create an amazing environment to be a part of.
I think what we have seen from Rio Tinto this past year is an acknowledgement of an understanding of where we are as a community and the value that water is to our community.
One other example that has been really a boost to the community and something to support recreation and promote healthy life choices is our pool. And I know that Rio Tinto was a big part of that.
We partner with RTA on a number of initiatives that support learning throughout the region. RTA is one of our many partners in education.
One of the examples of how our community is partnering with Rio Tinto is the Children's Release event. And so that's historically been just my favorite day of the year. It's been a day where kids come from across the region to release a fish. And it really is just a wonderful time that you can really see the community coming together.
Chislata has partnered with Rio Tinto on the T2 project at Camano. We have a site services contract, and we employ several of our Chislata community members, and very proudly, and also other people, all proudly wearing the Chislata logo alongside the Rio Tinto logo.
Several years ago, Rio Tinto donated a piece of land to the district of Kitimat, and we're now developing that into our Minette Bay West Park.
The Northwest was being undiscovered before, and I think it's been discovered and people are realizing the potential up here.
By sticking together, I think that it gives me a lot of optimism.
To me, that video speaks volumes about the power of communities persevering and continuing to build for the futures. As the voice in the video attests, the power of community building, in small and large ways, make a huge impact on how people thrive. There can be no economy, no business, no clean futures unless we work together with our people, our stakeholders, experts, government, and other industries. Communities, after all, are where our people, our greatest assets, lives, build families, and will thrive for generations. How we as industries invest and build up communities will define our future success. There is still a lot of work to be done. Rio Tinto has set ambitious goals. We're committed to achieving net zero as a carbon neutral business by 2050, and we cannot do that on our own. Plus, 2022 will hold its own challenge for all of us. Floods, extreme weathers, forest fire, are not going away, and we don't know how this pandemic will evolve. Underlying all that are the mental health and social challenges that have been brewed underneath. But we will overcome by this standing together, by working together to find creative solutions, to drive progress, to embrace change, and to raise the next generation. So many of you in this room have made incredible investment to support our northern communities, especially these past few years when your business have been hurt the most. We must continue to invest in our people and communities, in their collective physical and mental well-being, and as well as at the health of the environment. It's our commitment at Rio Tinto to continue to find innovative ways to help our people and our communities thrive and to embrace a collaborative approach to this work. So I welcome you to reach out to our team at Rio Tinto BC Work if you have ideas for partnership or investment that can help build a stronger community where we live and work, because together we can achieve more. I end by saying that we are excited to be part of BC Futures, and I share with you my deep gratitude on behalf of Rio Tinto's entire team for having us here today to share our philosophy on the power community building as we kick off this year's forum. We'd like to close by thanking the organizer of this collaborative event for bringing us all together, and to the speakers and participants for continuing to care about the need to drive for progress as we build a robust, resilient natural resources sector in BC that works for and benefit everyone. Enjoy the forum, and next year I hope to join you in person at the Prince George Civic Center. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ross. We sincerely appreciate you taking the time to speak today.